Okay, hey everybody. Thanks for logging into the Zoom call. I'm so excited that you're committed and ready to work your business. Tonight we're gonna talk about following up with people and kind of briefly on reaching out, but more so on following up, because I feel like we get super discouraged when we get the word no, we get no response, we don't know how to follow up or what to say. Or maybe you feel like you're saying too much, maybe you're saying too little, you're not asking the right questions. That's what we're going to cover tonight. So let's start with the number one question I get all the time. Emily, how do you follow up? And I want you guys to know this. Every follow-up is different. I do not send copy and pasted messages anymore like I did when I was a silver ambassador, because I just didn't know. I got overwhelmed. And now, can you go give these to Daddy? And now I've made it about the relationship. I've made it about what I say to that person, and basically how I know them, what we've talked about, and what information they're looking for based off their Facebook or based off of what we've said in the past, whatever it may be. So there will never be one follow-up that is the same. I've also noticed that recently, follow-ups that I have kept less than 2 sentences, like no more than 2 sentences, people actually respond to those, because when we send them novels of stuff to read, think about it. Think about your best friend. And you and your best friend are arguing, and you get that novel of a Facebook message where you have to scroll like 4 times to read through it, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be bad. Think about a Plexus potential. If they get a message like that, 1, they're going to unfollow your butt, and 2, they're going to be overwhelmed. Nobody has time to sit there and scroll through all that information. Good night. Okay. So it's super important that we keep it. Right now, everyone that has a pen and paper, write down 2 sentences or less. Your follow-up should be 2 sentences or less. Now, for me personally, I like using the voice message application on Messenger. I will pull that up right now and I'll show you what I mean. So you open the Messenger app. I know right now you can't see it because of it has to figure it out. We'll message my mom. How about that? Hold on. Oops. Okay, so there is a little microphone button, and then it comes up and it looks like this. See that little red button? That's the voice message. It's kind of like a walkie-talkie. I no longer send verbiage, like I don't type out messages anymore. 1, because of time. I send voice messages. Why? Because people have to listen to voice messages. And there's nothing better than hearing your excitement and hearing about Plexus instead of reading all this information about Plexus. So for instance, I'll send a voice message. You hold the button down. It gives you 59 seconds to talk. So you may have to send 2. I try to keep it into 1. But I'll send a voice message as my follow-up instead, because it's something different. So I encourage you, when you're following up with someone, and we'll get into examples in just a second, to keep it less than 2 sentences, or if you send voice messages, 30 seconds or less. And really, when you're replying, it should be a factual statement, maybe something like, maybe they reach out to you first, and they say, hey, Emily, what is Plexus? What is this Plexus you're posting about? Can you give me more information? So what I'm going to reply, how I'm going to follow up with that potential that's inquiring, I'm going to say, hey, oh my gosh, it's so great to hear from you. I would love to give you more information. Which one of my Plexus posts caught your attention? Which product are you interested in? I'm going to say 1 factual, 1 statement, whatever, and then I'm going to ask a question. Why? Because this is a conversation. I want them to keep asking me stuff. I want to give them a little bit out of a time, kind of like tug of war. You give a little, they give a little. You give a little, they give a little. So when you're following up, it should be a constant thing. This is relationship marketing, right? So it should be about building relationship, getting that info. Are they pregnant? Are they trying? Are they on medications? Do they have heart problems? What does their diet look like currently? What kind of water are they drinking? Or how much water are they drinking? we should be asking these great questions, not all at once. Nobody wants to be asked 30 questions and be interrogated about Plexus. It's just a little bit at a time. And that is a proper way to follow up, because if you're giving a little bit, then they are able to give you a little bit back. And that helps you to see a little bit better into why they may need Plexus and which products they may need. So from there, in GoPro, because this is what I like to talk about all the time. This is my favorite book. GoPro, Eric Worre, if you're a brand new ambassador on the call, hands down, #1 best book for network marketers. If you just joined, let's get a copy of this in your hands. If you don't have the money to afford it, let me know. Okay. We will get you this book. It is a game changer. But anyways, chapter 7, which is page 77, he talks about how to follow up with your prospects. When you follow up with someone, whether it's getting them information, sending them a sample, just replying, period, you got to do what you say you're going to do. There's nothing worse. Think about it. Think of any company or anybody you've ever ordered something from, and they say, oh yeah, I'm going to throw in a little extra sample of this this moisturizer because you ordered $50 worth. You get your package in the mail, there's no free sample. Or maybe you go online to Kohl's because Kohl's has a special, buy this and you get this free gift, and you get your package and there's no free gift. There's nothing worse than that, right? It's the same thing with following up. If you are giving them the information they're looking for, but you're not following up every 2 days, every 4 days. Like you said, hey, so this is the information that I'm sending you. I want you to read it over. I'm going to send it to the email that you've provided. And in 2 days, I'm going to check back in with you to make sure that you've read everything and you understand it. It's day 5. You haven't emailed them back. You haven't messaged them back. Guess what? They have forgotten about Plexus, or they're really annoyed with you because you said you were going to follow up and you didn't. So if you're going to follow up with someone, if you're going to make that commitment to be their accountability partner, to give them the Plexus info they want, you got to do what you say you're going to do. And I think that's our #1 fault. We say we're going to follow up and we forget, or we don't, or we're so afraid that they're going to say no that we don't want to follow up. So what I've done, which I've mentioned a couple of times, is I make sure that if I haven't done all of my follow-ups, maybe I have a couple of potentials, I've made it a point to have follow-up Fridays. So that is my reminder that, oh, I need to go check all of my customers, all my potentials, make sure they've all been followed up with. It's Friday. And that's something, and an easy way for you to see how to follow up. That's Eric Worre's concept #1. The second concept is the only reason to have an exposure is to set up the next exposure. How many of you have said, here's my website, go check it out and let me know what you think? I can see a lot of you, so shake your head yes or raise your hand. Who has done that? We've all done it at least once. Stop doing that. They need more exposure. So what we're going to do, what we're going to start doing is we're going to go find a testimonial that is perfect for them. Maybe they have IBS. There's tons of testimonials about IBS. Maybe they want the business opportunity and they need to see that a struggling single mom has gone diamond and has made this work for them. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to be personable. You're going to work on that relationship, and you're going to intentionally provide something that's going to benefit them. You're not only exposing them to more of the opportunity and more information about Plexus, but it's not just your verbiage. It's someone else's life story and somebody that they can relate to, especially if you're not suffering from that issue. If you're not living that life, if you're not a single mom, it's going to be hard for you to relate to a single mom. If you're not a single dad, it's going to be hard for you to relate to a single dad. So we have to think of what we're exposing them to, what information we're exposing them to, and how we are exposing them to it. For instance, you have someone that messages you, I just want to lose some weight. What Plexus product should I buy? And you send them a diamond documentary. No. That is irrelevant. Yeah, it's great. Diamond documentaries are inspiring, but that is not what they're looking for. That's not what they need. So when you follow up with that person, you're going to find them a testimony that is maybe someone their age, someone that needed to lose weight and how they did it properly. And then you're going to ask them the questions we talked about earlier about, their water intake. What does your diet look like right now? When are you taking your medications? I saw you mention that earlier. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Ask about them. People love to talk about themselves before you just expose them to all this information that is useless to them. Let's keep going. From there, when you're following up with somebody, maybe you've been following up for 2 weeks. Maybe they stopped replying. Maybe they read it and they still haven't replied and it's been 5 days and you really, really want to ask them again, but you think that you're being pushy. You think you're badgering them. Well, guess what? They haven't said yes and they haven't said no, so you're going to keep following up. I did a Facebook Live today about going for no. If they haven't said no, then why have you stopped following up? Statistics say that it takes the 12th to the 16th follow-up to really get their attention and for them to make a decision. And that's because people have lives. They're full-time students. They're full-time parents. They have full-time jobs. They forget because we're human. And Plexus is not a priority. But if you're exposing them to the right information at the right time, then they'll make it a priority because they're desperate for that change, right? They're desperate and they need what we have. So they'll change their mind. So a great question that Eric Worre suggests asking is if this person has stopped responding, or maybe they're saying, yeah, let me get back to you. Or my favorite, let me ask my husband. Let me ask my wife. Then you can ask them this. Okay, so it's been a couple days. I need to know. Give me an idea on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being 0 interest and 10 being ready to get started right now. Can you tell me where you're at? Can you point me in the right direction? Like, I need some communication here. It's okay to be bold. You're not being pushy. You just need to know. Do you continue to spend time on this person or do you move on? And that's why he asked that question. And I think it's brilliant because sometimes we get so hung up on them not replying and we're like, oh my gosh, they hate us. I'm so annoying. What am I doing wrong? It has nothing to do with us. It's their timing. It's what's up to them. So think about that. The third concept that Eric Worre mentions, this is on page 83 of GoPro if you have the book. It says it takes an average of 4 to 6 exposures for the average person to join. So maybe you've been following up with the potential ambassador, someone that you want on your team so bad. This is the thing. You've messaged them twice. You've tagged them in 1 diamond documentary. So what's that? That's 3 exposures to Plexus. So it's 4 to 6 exposures to get someone to finally join. What can you do differently? How can you follow up differently? Well, for one, get them to a Plexus event. Have a sip and see at your house. Take them to an opportunity meeting. We have a bunch coming up from March to May that are free. And there's so many all over the US that you can get them to. Meet them for breakfast or lunch and let them see how excited you are about Plexus. Let them see the changes that you've experienced. Expose them a few more times to some good things about Plexus. My favorite way to expose people is to make a video. And you guys know this, and I know they freak you out, but they're not that bad. They're really not that bad. And then once you start doing them, you're like, oh, I got this. I'm so cute. Look at me. Like, I made a video. Like, you get confident. You get excited. Cassie's laughing because she watched herself 6 times today after she made her video, didn't you? You watched it like 6 times. It's okay. I do it all the time. And my husband's like, how many times are you going to watch yourself in the video? And I'm like, look at my crazy eyes. Look at them. Like, I can't believe people like this. Like, I'm ridiculous. And they watch my videos. But it's a unique way to expose your potentials to Plexus without you having to message them one-on-one all the time. Maybe they just need to hear a different perspective. Maybe you could share a diamond documentary privately or share something and say, hey, I was thinking about our last conversation and it's been a while and I really don't know what your stance is on Plexus at this point. I'm kind of at a loss, but I saw this video today on YouTube and I had to send it to you. This spoke to me. This is you. And I know you can do this. Will you watch it and tell me what you think? It's just about being creative and knowing the relationship you have with that person. The next concept that Eric Worre mentions is condense the exposures for better results. Eric Worre talks about being a poser in network marketing versus being a professional network marketer. You're a poser if you expose Plexus once and you move on and you never follow up again. You're not a professional. Professionals go for no. Professionals keep reaching out until they have a response, until they have used so many different combinations of exposures. This person is either way far left and like, no, Plexus is not for me. Or they're like, oh my gosh, if I had $150 right now, I would join and buy the double welcome pack or whatever. It's about condensing the exposures and being intentional and doing it the right way. So for instance, you could be following up with someone for what, 8 months? I think that's the longest. Actually, no, I've followed up with someone for like way longer, 18 months. You've been following up for all this long, but you took like a 3-month hiatus. We're all guilty of that because you just kind of get sick of it and you're like, oh my gosh, they keep saying they're going to join and they never do. They keep saying they're going to order and they never do. She said she's been to my website like 7 times. How do I know? It's about them being constantly distracted and then you being constantly distracted. So if they're living their life and not giving a Plexus another thought and you're over here thinking of them but not reaching out to them, that's a lack of follow-up. No one's going to join if they're not being reminded to join, right? Some way or the other, whether it's a Facebook post, whether it's a Facebook video, whether you're directly contacting that person. You got to condense it and make it about them. And you have to remember, Victor Antonio talked about this at Super Saturday. It's about their timing, not yours. How many times, y'all can raise your hand or nod your head yes, how many times have you finally got the courage to reach out to someone you were about to throw up because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm doing it. And they replied, I'm going to have to think about it. And if you internalize that and you overanalyze, and you're like, oh my gosh, what have I done? They're never going to talk to me again. They hate me. No, that's a no. They're never going to join. How many of y'all have done that? We all do it. We're like, oh my, why did I just waste my time? I just ruined that friendship. Yeah, we've all done it once. Stop doing that. Stop doing it. Have unshakable belief in yourself, in the products, and in this company, and know that when they're thinking about it, that's a good thing. You want them to think about it. You want them to think about you. You want them to see your post, even if it's not a Plexus post, and be like, oh, I want to join her team. I need to reach out to her about that. Or, oh, I want to try that product she posted about the other day. I need to talk to her about that. Stop beating yourself up about approaching people. The fact that you've done that and they didn't say no is amazing. You're sharing the opportunity. That's a good thing. Eric Worre shares this. This is on page 85. I've found that objections fall into one of 2 categories. The first is the prospect's limiting belief in their abilities. They aren't sure that they can be successful. How many of us have heard that? I just don't know if this is for me. I don't think I can sell anything. I don't know how to sell, right? We've all heard these things. The second is a limiting belief in network marketing. I don't know enough about this. I'm not a salesperson. I have no one to sell to. Network marketing is a scheme. I'm going to annoy my Facebook friends, right? We've all heard these things. They aren't sure network marketing will help them achieve their goals in life. That is why, one, reading a book like Go Pro about network marketing and educating yourself on why our economy needs network marketing and small businesses to keep flourishing. But that's why it's important to help them understand that we are sharers and not to be salesy in our follow-up approach. We have to remain personable, because if we come off salesy at all once, for instance, sending your link in the first 3 sentences of following up with someone, that is salesy. That is salesy, you guys, and no one wants to be sold to. Think about it. How about this? You're at the mall, and there's that hair extension kiosk stand in the middle of the mall, and that lady is always like, hello, oh my gosh, you have such beautiful hair. Can I play with your hair? And you're like, crap. Maybe if I just keep walking, she won't know that I heard her. I'll just walk right past her, and I'll keep going. Or my favorite, the ones that have like their aromatherapy lotions and scents, and they're always like, free sample. And you're like, no, I'm good. And they're like, oh, you'll love it. It smells good. And you're like, no, I'm good. Think about that the next time you reach out to someone. Are you being a crazy kiosk lady? Or do you have the kiosk that's unique and draws people into you? You don't have to chase them with a sample. You don't have to flag them down and annoy the crap out of them and tell them their hair is beautiful. You have what they want and what they need, and people come to you, right? For instance, right now, the mall that I live by, those stupid emoji pillows, people want those things. They want them. They love them. Their kids love them. That thing is like surrounded by people all the time. And then right next to it is the hair thing where they like put in fake hair and ponytails, whatever. And people are always like, it's funny. Like they like scurry past the kiosk like, oh no, they saw me. Think about that. What kind of ambassador do you want to be? Do you want to be approachable? Do you want to be the person that people go to get information because you're not salesy? You post with intention. You follow up with intention. Or are you the overly crazy, annoying Plexus lady? I have no problem being a crazy Plexus lady, but I want that with a good reputation. I want it because people love the way I follow up and that it's not very pushy. I know it's about their timing. But if I do come across something that I think will benefit them, I'm like, hey, I know you're still thinking about it. That's totally fine. But while you're thinking, here's a great article on gut health. Hey, while you're talking to your husband, do you mind showing him this diamond documentary? I think it'll be really inspiring for both of you to watch together. Yes, Courtney Belter, it adds value. The questions I think that we're asked a lot, which we get discouraged when we're following up, is how much is it? We freak out because we're like, oh my gosh, it's too expensive. They don't want it. And that's not true. You don't know that until they say that, right? How much is it? Is this one of those MLM things? Is this one of those pyramid schemes? I don't want to bother my friends. Or my favorite, how much have you made? Well, crap. If you've never made a paycheck, that's embarrassing, right? How do you feel when someone asks you that? Because you don't know what to say. And that's not what's important. And that's what you need to be honest about and say, look, I haven't made a paycheck yet, but that's not why I do this. I do this because the products freaking work. I do this because I don't want to be that zombie mom that sits on her couch all day and doesn't play with her son because she's loaded up on Zoloft. You have to be honest and you have to be real when you're following up with people and you're giving them the information that they're looking for, because if they know you, if you're friends with them, they're going to see right through your salesy bullcrap. They're going to see right through it and roll their eyes and be like, nope, not buying it. But if it's someone maybe you don't know, the fact that you are being vulnerable with a stranger and you're letting them know, look, you don't have to ever buy from me. You could buy from somebody in freaking Arkansas. I don't care. But I know that you need these products. I've seen your statuses. I've seen that you're suffering. The fact that you keep reaching out to me, I know you want it. So you figure out a way for them to get it, or you figure out what's best for them. If cost is an issue, especially if that's what stops you from following up because they're like, yeah, I don't have the money for that, tell them to order BioCleanse. That's the number one product that they should be starting with. I used to think it was ProBio 5, but before you can put the good stuff in, you got to clean out your system first. So get their hands on BioCleanse and make sure that they understand they can take it alone. And that's the number one thing that they should start with. When they have experienced results from that, maybe they'll see that it's worth it to get the triplex, to order others. So it's important that when we follow up and we get some sort of objection, that we don't shut down and internalize, what did I say wrong? Oh my gosh, what did they read? Oh, I'm so annoying. What have I done? We don't internalize. We don't see it like that. Instead, we look at it as they need more information. If they think it's a scheme, okay, they have a story. They've been in network marketing before. You need to ask them about it. Be like, okay, what do you know about network marketing? Oh, well, one of my friends did that makeup company and it was $1,200 to get started and she had to open up a credit card for it. Yikes. Well, with Plexus, cool thing is it's $34.95 to begin. No credit cards needed. Just don't go out to dinner for 2 times this week and you're good, right? You got to dig deep. It's more than a follow-up. It's more than reaching out. You got to figure out where their heart is coming from, if they have a story, if it's finances, or maybe it's not finances. Maybe they read Betty's blog on Google. Maybe they read some silly article about supplements and how they're not made correctly. You got to go to the root of the source, and you have to figure it out before you get discouraged and stop following up. So I challenge all of you, I'm going to wrap this call up. I challenge all of you to go for no's this week. I want you to message me how many no's you got on Sunday. Send me a message. Say, Emily, I got 32 no's. Hey, Emily, I got 115 no's. That tells me you're not afraid to share Plexus with others. That tells me that you're working your business and you're reaching out to people. And that shows me how bold you are. And that is the greatest step you could take towards being a leader with Plexus, is having that unshakable belief in yourself and in the products and the company. And you show others that too. Like, look, I'm reaching out to you because I care about you. And it doesn't even have to be about Plexus. You can just say, hey, how are you? Let's go to breakfast on Saturday. Oh my gosh, you just got married. Your dress was incredible. Or my favorite, if you haven't talked to them in at least, like, if it's been over a month and you haven't talked to them in a while, go like their profile picture. It's the easiest thing ever because you don't have to stalk. You just like it. Maybe comment on it. Depends on how fast you want to move towards that person. The other greatest way to get follow-ups moving along, or a reminder that you're a friend or you care, is to wish them happy birthday. It's the easiest way to stay connected on Facebook. Is we get a notification whose birthdays it is, and you go and you tell them happy birthday. I can't tell you how many times someone said, thank you so much. I need to ask you about Plexus. What? It's easy. It's an easy way to do it. So I challenge everyone to go for no's this week. If you don't want to message me, message your upline and have them tell me. I want to know how many no's you got. I want to know how many people said, nope, maybe later, not right now. I'm not interested. Because more often than not, they're not going to say no. They're going to say maybe. And I can't wait to hear about it. And I can't wait to see people go silver this week because they reached out to 100 people, right? So have a great rest of the week. Share this video with your team. I'll have it uploaded here in the next half hour. Thanks to everybody for getting on. I appreciate all of you. I love the smiling faces and all the notes and everything that y'all are writing, the babies. It's so cute. So have a great rest of your week.